I'm very much excited to see Rivian's first vehicle hit the market. I'm not a reservation holder or anything, but I'm sure there's a lot of you out there, and I've been contacted by an anonymous source that wanted to keep me up to date with kind of the timeline, how we should expect the R1T rollout to begin. So, on paper, a lot of the times Rivian has been saying deliveries were going to be at the end of 2020, but they've been kind of quiet on the exact timeline. They haven't been making a whole lot of statements on this, and the source that contacted me said it's more than likely going to be early Q1 of 2021. So that could mean Rivian's first ever customer vehicle deliveries could begin in just 6 months from now, which is really, really exciting, knowing how long this company has been a thing and how long they've been working and researching and developing and raising money. And personally, when it comes to EV startups, I love seeing a company act instead of talk all day. And they're testing their prototypes out in the dirt in the field and getting the whole thing dirty, and at the same time working on their factory and assembly line so that it can be operational within the next 6 months is really exciting. But it should be noted that that will be the higher tier option. Essentially, the 400-mile Rivian will be coming out first, and at this point we don't really know exactly how much it's going to be. My source did not want to comment on what the actual prices would be for these higher tier Rivians, but he did mention that further price cuts for the base model are being finalized as they're kind of reworking the interior design and materials that are being used for that base model R1T. Also, as an update for that Rivian Adventure Network I did a video on a while back, the charging network that Rivian will be building from the ground up, they expect to have the first 51 stations of that adventure network online by mid-June of next year, which is pretty quick and pretty ambitious. And he wanted to mention that 47 out of those 51 are in the permitting process right now. So a lot of paperwork going on, but it sounds like Rivian is going to have a lot of charge points to go off of once vehicles are actually hitting the road. So while it will be that high price 400-mile Rivian at first, which could be well over $90,000, potentially $100,000 if it's true that it's going to have like a 180 kilowatt hour battery pack, and the fact that all Rivians will be coming with 4 motors per vehicle. However, he did say the base model in mid-tier Rivians, that's the one that has 230-mile range and 300-mile range, those are going into production in mid-June of 2021 as well. So you can see a lot of things coming together next summer, and in the same time, in around July of 2021, they want to start expanding the high-tier Rivian, the 400-mile variant, into the Canadian market as well. So they're not just restricting themselves to the US. In fact, they're also looking to expand into the European market as well in 2022 with the R1S, which is kind of built on the same platform as the R1T, but it's more of an SUV that can sit a lot of people while still having good range and off-roading capabilities. My sources told me they're looking into putting a factory in England as well in partnership with another European automaker there that may or may not be Mercedes. So not finalized yet, but we'll see. And he also let me know that Rivian is expecting another climb in COVID cases this winter, which is why they're expecting the factory to probably have to shut down right before production begins for about a month at the worst case scenario, which is why you should likely expect R1T deliveries to be in Q1 of next year. But overall, he felt fairly optimistic that the R1T is on schedule and that the software that the vehicles are going to be running is actually a little bit ahead of schedule, which is great to hear. And a few people were speculating on whether or not Rivian would be rocking Zoox software. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. I haven't talked about it before. It's Z-O-O-X, so Zoox is how I want to pronounce it, but I totally could be wrong here. Essentially, it's an autonomous vehicle company that Amazon recently acquired, so some people were wondering if that technology was going to be embedded into Rivian, and he's saying at this point that has not taken place, so Rivian's autonomous software will be just kind of their own for now, and there's no plan for that integration to take place on any consumer vehicles at any time. But yeah, Rivian is saying their base model R1T, which again is going into production next summer, should be around $69,000 is what they're advertising on the website, but they have made comments in the past that there would be different configurations and customizations you could give the R1T to make it cheaper. They haven't said exactly how much, and honestly, I don't blame them for it, because before you mass produce a vehicle, it's kind of very difficult to know how much it's going to cost. So that's definitely the biggest mystery here, and I think that'll be probably their biggest drawback compared to competitors. But the big advantage Rivian has here is they will essentially have a monopoly on the electric pickup truck market for a good year or so. If they're still expecting for their first deliveries to take place in early next year, that means pretty much there's going to be no other electric pickup truck on the market until end of 2021, and that's if the Cybertruck is on schedule, which, because we still don't have a factory location being finalized and construction hasn't started yet, a lot of people are still thinking Cybertruck is going to be delayed well into 2022, which means 2021 will be Rivian's big entry year, their first time delivering vehicles to consumers, getting real world data, figuring out what problems they need to solve. And yeah, they'll be pretty expensive compared to Cybertrucks or other gas vehicles on the market they're competing with, but you should expect an insane amount of torque, an insane amount of 0 to 60 performance. Also happy to hear that Rivian is working on their own charging network that will be rolling out well into next year. And I absolutely cannot wait to see one on the road, because Tesla absolutely needs more competition in the electric vehicle market, and seeing more companies adopt battery electric vehicles and delivering them to consumers and actually producing them instead of just talking about it is really, really encouraging. So I'm wishing Rivian the best of luck. Hope you can get all of the R1T lineup out by summer of next year, and also can't wait to see the R1S as well. But what are you guys most looking forward to from Rivian? Feel free to hit me up over on Twitter, join my Discord, we can chat more about it there. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.